What's up? I'm Corey.
I'm Kelly.
So, let me take my seatbelt off. We've talked a bit about the things that we put in our body and health, nutrition, fasting, meditation, yoga, and just the ways that we can have a healthy mind. Mental illness, drug addiction. We've talked about all these things, and I want to talk. We've also talked about what's called the word of wisdom, and all that is a guideline on how to live healthy, what we should put in our body and what we shouldn't put in our body. And some of those things that are actually like specifically said are alcohol, tobacco, coffee, tea.
Well, it actually says hot drinks.
Hot drinks. Yes, it does. So take it for what you want. That's the great thing about it. It is the spirit of the law and not the letter of the law. That's the great thing about it's D&C 89, Doctrine and Covenants. It's scripture in the LDS Church. The word of wisdom originally was for the weakest of people, a guideline to help people become stronger and to improve their health.
And it talks about herbs, like using herbs of the earth and grains and
things that are good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talks about
very
eating little meat.
But it doesn't say not to eat meat. It just says don't eat a whole lot of it.
It actually says to eat meat in times of famine and in times of lack, whenever. So take that for what you want, you know. Again, it is following your heart, following what makes me feel healthier, what increases my energy, and what helps my mind feel just healthy and clean. I've known a statistic for a long time that is very interesting, and it is pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, this whole country is just hooked on pharmaceutical drugs, whether it's antidepressants, even like high blood pressure medications, psychotropics, anti-anxiety, pain pills, all the different things that people are prescribed to. Something that's kind of interesting is Utah is the number one state that is prescribed anti-depression medication. It's really high up there on anti-anxiety medication, and it is okay. I'm not judging it as right or wrong. You know, people go to their doctor, they get a prescription, and they take it as they're prescribed, and it helps their life. Is it healthy for them? No. I'll say that straight out.
Right, healthy for the body.
Pharmaceuticals that are synthetically made and we put in our body are not made for our body. Our body does not have the natural receptors to receive those things that we're putting in us, and we're filtering it through our body, and it's hard on our body. It isn't healthy for our body. Is it necessary for people? Yes, to each their own. I'm not judging it as good or bad.
I've been on them. I've been on them my whole life, pretty much.
Yep.
Since I was 20-something years old, I've been on all of it.
So taking that down a whole different track of thought. We believe in being obedient to the laws of the land. Now, prescription medication has its purpose. It has its value. And there you can bring all the politics into it and the control that Big Pharma has over the world and the way that Big Pharma is continuing to progress and move into other holistic or medicinal medications, and they're taxing it and they're making it more of a corporate thing. But marijuana has always been looked down on by the majority of it, and it's changing drastically. I mean, almost every day I can smell it in homes that I go in and places that I go. I am a pro advocate marijuana. I always have been.
Me too.
If I could have and if I could have, should have, would have, whatever, if I would have just used marijuana for depression or whatever, and if I'm going through a period in my life where I'm having a hard time and I used it as a medicine to improve my mind and to improve myself, I would choose that over all the antidepressant medications and all the other drugs that the pharmaceutical companies are trying to push on me and my doctor's trying to push on me. I would use that immediately before any of the other ones, because our body has cannabinoid receptors within it. Our body is actually created to receive those chemicals and to actually attach to receptors in our body to do something naturally. And it is a plant that is grown in the wild and can also be cultivated. But I mean, it is a natural gift from God for people that are struggling with many mental disorders. But we've been convinced that since like the 50s, when they came out with you smoke weed and you go crazy and everything, everybody knows the commercials, the propaganda, and it was all a fight against marijuana. And in the early 1900s, the discussion was, okay, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to legalize alcohol or are we going to legalize marijuana? Well, what type of country did we live in the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s? The majority of people that used marijuana were not white people that the majority of white people drank alcohol. So which one are you going to legalize? I mean, who had the right to vote? Who had the right to vote? Who had the right to do these things? So marijuana was made illegal, and that is being corrected in the world today. So the only thing I'm saying is, with all the medicine that is available, the natural, God-given plants have been made Schedule 1, which means it has no medicinal value. It is scheduled along with fentanyl, heroin, crack, cocaine. I think cocaine isn't even scheduled as 1, if I'm not mistaken. It might be now. But a Schedule 1 drug is the worst. It's the worst schedule that you can schedule a drug. It is the most dangerous. It's up there with LSD for whatever reason. Marijuana has been branded as a Schedule 1 narcotic, and people have spent life in prison for using it. And then I can go get a prescription for Oxycontin and be strung out on opiates, completely illegal. I can be strung out on benzodiazepines, Valium, Xanax, Ativan, Klonopin, whatever. I can do that legally. And nobody, even within the LDS church or the Christian community, is going to look down on it, because you went to a doctor, you got a problem, but oh no, that person just ate a gummy bear that has THC in it. I mean, okay, now we can go to the doctor and get a prescription and do it. I don't have one. I don't have a card. I can't use it legally, but
I do have one. It just expired, but I have had one for a couple of years.
Yeah. And a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can use THC for medicinal purposes and go into a temple and be at complete peace and harmony. It is not. It's not a sin.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful today to not have that battle, because I've had that internal battle within myself for my whole life, truly. Because the first time that I smoked weed, I was, 22? Like, the time that we did.
Oh, that was with Ian? That was your first time?
No, that wasn't, but that was around the time that I began.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Thanks,
so, like,
Corey.
22. So with you and with my sister, it was like those. And
felt so guilty, I'm doing something so wrong.
Well, the thing about it too is that marijuana, like, I can recognize from my own personal life that I have used it as a drug with addiction and for reasons like to numb things and to...
People go to rehab for marijuana.
Absolutely. And I have used it in my life in that way. And I have also used it in my life as a medication instead of taking the handful of mood stabilizers and antidepressants and benzodiazepines and sleeping pills. Like, I've been on so many different antipsychotic, like, medications that would cause all these different side effects, and I would struggle because for years I would be on all these medicines that they would have to change constantly because my moods would just be like erratic. Or I could use this one plant that would help me to just feel good, and that would help me to want to be good. Like, every time I would use it medicinally, it would cause me to want to pray. It would cause me to want to read my scriptures.
Become
it would, like,
introspective and want to improve and be better.
Yes, like, eat better, exercise. Like, it would actually steer me into that direction. And so for so many years, I would have people all around me telling me, I shouldn't be using it because of all of these different reasons. And I'm like,
Stigma.
But internally, I know in my core, and I know that God has brought me to this. Yeah. And so there was always that battle, and then there was the battle of the law of the land. Now I'm breaking a law of the land, and so, whenever it became legalized, I was just like, oh my gosh. Yet there was still that battle within me, because the battle had been there my whole life. And so it's been a major process for me to be able to even accept it as an answer to pain and to suffering, and to things that we go through in this life. But it's like, but I've gotten to a place in my life today where I don't even use it like I used to, because I don't know. It has, I feel like it has a time and a season, just like everything. And it is very helpful, and it can help people to truly get off of all of the pills. But it's a matter of using it as a tool and as a medication, and not using it from the time you wake up until the time you go to sleep. Like, it's not one of those things that we need to be constantly
using as an addict.
Right,
Yes.
to numb ourselves and to not deal with life and not be in life. I mean, there's a difference between smoking it and vegging out and just constantly, like, distracting
Being
ourselves.
stoned.
Yeah, like, there's a difference, and people know it. Like, you know it within yourself how you're using it, whether you're using it truly to help you or to not.
I was gonna clean my house, but then I got high.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the purpose. But
you know if you know.
You know if you know, for sure. And my only point is, there are so many people that are medicated and addicted to pharmaceutical drugs and think that they need those things, when there are answers in plants And not just marijuana. I mean, there are so many plant medicines and oils and holistic health that can bring us back to mental health, bring us back to clarity and just a healthy body. And I'm not getting on here and saying, well, I'm gonna start smoking weed every day and that's the way I'm going.
Yeah,
it's
no.
not my purpose of this. My purpose is the stigma and the way that people look at it is completely inaccurate. And it's those same people, and I'm not judging it as right or wrong. It's an indoctrination. It's what we've learned since we were kids, that I can go to the doctor and I can get my fix. I can go to the doctor and I can get cured. Well, how about God has given us everything we need? And we don't need to rely on man to go into some lab and create some synthetic drug that does not belong in our body, and we put it in there, and then we wonder, why am I constipated? What's wrong with my digestive system? What's wrong with my skin? Why am I getting these rashes? Why am I losing circulation? What's going on? Why am I losing hair? Why am I doing this and that? Why am I foggy? Why is my thinking foggy? All the side effects. I have had side effects from medication that really caused me some serious health issues.
Me too.
From the doctor, you know, and even using it correctly.
Yeah, our bodies get dependent, whether we're addicted or not. I mean, our bodies depend on these drugs.
Wellbutrin is really hard on me. Anti-depression medication is really hard on me. And I mean, you can go into like sex drive and all kinds of different things that these drugs have side effects to. And I am so glad that I'm off of it all. I mean, just screw it all. I'm still a work in progress, so I'll put that out there. I am making progress every day. I'm in recovery, and it's a process. And to say I'm off of everything, well, I've been on ibuprofen and amoxicillin for the last few days, and I hate taking amoxicillin. I don't like taking, what are they called?
Antibiotics.
Antibiotics. I don't at all, because it weakens my natural defense in my body. And I could have probably just
oregano.
I could have done some natural things and not taken the antibiotics and saved it for maybe a time when I really, really needed them. Or if I started getting an infection in one of them, then start using it. But to use it just in case I get an infection.
I know.
So we put so many things in our body when it's not natural. It's not necessary. When we've been given so many things, and Kelly's talked about it, and you've done a ton of work on like all the plants we can eat and all the nourishment that we can get from things you wouldn't even think about eating.
Dandelions.
What is it?
Nettles?
Nettle stuff. I mean, you can really use a lot of plants that have and if you study it, like study natural remedies for depression, and it's out there. You know what I mean? That's a sad statistic. The number one state in the nation for prescription medication, specifically antidepressant medication, is Utah. And it's the stigma.
And it's also because so many people have so much stuff in their root that they're repressing, denying, pushing down. There's so much people-pleasing, perfectionism, living up to the standard that we've created. That's just not good anything.
Enough.
Like,
you'll never be good enough.
No, none of us will.
No. Especially with that mentality.
Yeah.
I'll never be good enough. Thank you, Jesus, for making it possible, you know.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it's that judgment. It's that judgment of ourselves.
There's so much judgment.
And so now I'm going to start taking a pharmaceutical synthetic drug that does not belong in my body, thinking that it's going to make me better, or taking something that's just pushing down the real problems, repressing the real issues, because I won't look at my problems. I won't look at the damage that's been done in my life, whether I did it to myself or it was trauma that was put onto me by somebody else, and I'm going to go seek a doctor or a therapist. And I'm not saying that stuff's bad.
Mm-mm.
Because, I mean, it saved my life.
Mine too.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there's a time and a season for it.
There is. And we've said it many times. That is a process. There are medications that can help a person get stable, but it's not the end goal. We just said that last time. It's not the end goal. The end goal is to get off of it all. Mm-hmm. And if you feel yourself getting into a funk, there are legal ways to stay away from things that are made in a lab, from things that are made by man. God has given us everything that we need to be healthy, to have mental health, to have physical health. And it starts with the word of wisdom. Call it whatever you want. Just eating right, living right, doing things, and I say right, living healthy, making choices that are helping us progress. And I mean, by no means am I there, but I'm there. I mean, you know, I'm working
every
on
day.
it.
We're reincarnated into something new and different, and we can practice every day.
I love the plant cannabis. I think that it is a gift given to man, and it is a solution to get away from synthetic drugs that man just wants to keep you hooked in a system. Big pharma wants to keep you hooked and coming back month in and month out. And you talk about like petroleum and how do we get away from it's a whole different topic, but people that want to get away from using fossil fuels and all this stuff, well, every time you put a pill in your body that's a capsule, you're endorsing it. You know, I mean, I'm putting petroleum in my body every time I take one of those antibiotics. And my body is going to have to work that out of me. I just took my last one. And I'm going to have a 30-day period of my body reincarnating. Getting that out of me.
Yeah, your guts, your liver, your kidneys, all of it.
It's not healthy for me. And I took it because the doctor told me to. And in retrospect now, week and a half later, I'm thinking, probably didn't even need to take those. You know? So.
Yeah. With, you said something about, working to be off of everything chemical. And that is truly like, I recognize with marijuana that, it is something, like I said, that I have used and I do use, but it is something that I'm coming to not, I used to use it every single day, and it's like, I'll go weeks without using it. And so, and I love that. I love that I'm just gradually moving into it. It's not like I have to do these hardcore, how we can get like cold turkey and off of stuff because I recognize the medicinal benefits of it, especially having chronic pain with like spine pain and stuff that, I hope that one day I don't have that spine pain there, that it is something, I'm learning so much about how our emotions, our emotional body and our energetic body, how we just hold in stuff and it manifests through pain within our body. And, I do recognize that we are natural men and women in this world, and that because of nature and because of our bodies, that they do deteriorate, that we do have diseases, we do have things that happen in our lives that affect our bodies in ways that is just going to cause pain. And we may be in physical body pain for our entire life, but we've been given beautiful gifts and tools to be able to manage that.
Cannabinoids are a natural painkiller.
And I find that with pain pills, like with Lortab, Soma, not Soma, Lortab, Norco, like whatever you want to call it, opiates. Like whenever you take that into your body for physical pain, it increases the physical pain whenever it wears off. And so you're constantly needing to take another pill. Whereas with marijuana, it lessens the pain, and it takes your mind off of the pain, and it just minimizes it. And it's not like the pain comes back stronger and worse. It just, I don't know, it's just so different. Yeah. It is truly different.
Yeah. There are different ways to deal with it. There are different ways to deal with it than opiates, and it
helps too with like cancer and with people who are going through chemotherapy and whose bodies are just so weak, and like with nausea, and if you can't eat, and just it helps in so many different ways, and it's like it's a gift and it's such a blessing.
Or like Lewy bodies with our sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that we can do that are less harmful to our body to help us get through illness, to help us get through things that we're going through. Soldiers that get back from war that are experiencing PTSD, they don't need all these antipsychotic medications. There is psilocybin, there is MDT, there are other hallucinogens that have been proven to help tremendously for these people that are suffering with PTSD. And it's becoming legal. And the big pharma's fighting it because they want control over everybody. They don't want to lose their business. But people are waking up. People are waking up to that.
It's just so stigmatized.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, oh, shrooms, oh, marijuana. No.
Yeah, I mean, anything that can help a person to improve and to be better and to get out of the depression that is paralyzing.
Yeah, it's more, psychotropics, synthetic drugs made in a lab. That's the stuff that it doesn't cure anything.
But the awesome thing is like with the mushrooms and with those types of things that people are just taking it one time and it's changing them. You know, it's not like you have to get on mushrooms and take mushrooms for the rest of your life. It's like it's a one and done kind of thing sometimes,
or a couple times,
or a few times, right?
And
instead
you don't
of taking
see many
pills
people,
every single day.
except maybe kids. Yeah, you don't see many people that are hooked on mushrooms or psychedelics. I mean, there are people that have used them excessively, but the point is it can be used as a medicine for people that suffer with PTSD and other things, instead of these drugs that you have to take for the rest of your life, or you're going to put a gun in your mouth and kill yourself.
Right.
And, you know, the big pharma doesn't want you to know that there really is an actual cure. There really is a way to not fight that anymore. So, you know, the stigma behind it all, and so many people out there want to tell me what I believe just because I'm a Mormon, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's so funny that people want to tell me what I believe when I am an individual person. And the only way for you to know what I believe is if I tell you what I believe. I mean, you can go study LDS doctrine and come to me with all these ideas of what I believe, and it's completely out of context. Because I believe some really different things than even mainstream people within my own church. And, you know, most of the Christian world is going to tell you, don't smoke marijuana, or don't use marijuana in any form, or don't do mushrooms, or, you know, but it's okay if you go to the doctor and get your Xanax, or go to the
Right.
doctor and get your Oxycontin, or go to the doctor and get your Soma,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And it's just, it's breaking that thought pattern. It's
Yeah.
breaking that tradition of our fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Generational. I mean, since the early 1900s, America's been hooked on pharmaceuticals. And we don't need to be. There are so many holistic, natural ways to deal with whatever you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about those holistic, natural ways is they bring enlightenment, and
healing.
they do make you want to be better, and they make you want to not even really do it. You know? It's like, wait, I'm progressing. I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But with all the other stuff, it's like, you got to take it every 8 hours. And if I don't, I start feeling sick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could go smoke weed right now and not smoke for a year, and I'm not going to have detoxes.
Mm-hmm.
I might have some kind of like
emotional
stuff come up and actually want to be better.
Right. Exactly.
Might be the result of it is me wanting to improve my life. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole stigma behind it, and the whole thought that, oh, they're LDS, there's no way that they'd ever be around, that's just not true.
And two, also in recovery, you know, there is a huge thing about people being in recovery, and if you're smoking weed, well, then you're not really in recovery, you know. And it's like, man, I think we need to have a little bit more grace with people and a little bit more understanding. And like, you can't just lump everything in there together.
That
like,
goes to
just...
Sublocade. When I'm
Right.
on Sublocade, there's so many people in NA that judge me as not being clean because I got help. It's like, what? I need to suffer for 10 days?
We need help. We
Yeah.
need all the help that we can get. And if that comes in the form of certain types of medications, whether it is the Sublocade, whether it is marijuana, it's like, these are things that are helping us to get off of the destructive pills and drugs and ways of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's about changing our way of thinking.
And it's funny, even like get away from Christianity and just go to spirituality, which is what AA and NA and CA and all these other AAs embrace. It's so funny that there's still that judgment there. Like, oh, well, Corey's on Sublocade. Well, then he's not really in recovery. Well, give me a break. I mean, okay, let's get off of it and go do some food. Yeah, who's the recovery
police?
Yeah. Who tells me? That is the great thing about the program. To thine own self be true.
Amen.
Nobody can tell me what my recovery needs to look like. The only thing I need to be at is peace with myself, and know that I'm making progress, and know that I'm improving upon my life, and that's all that matters. And there's so many personalities, so many different people, even in these recovery programs, and that's a great thing about the traditions of recovery programs, is you got to get rid of the personalities. You got to get rid of the biases, the judgments, the racism, all the things that people deal with. It's not allowed there. But it's so funny that you can still see that judgment of somebody that's in a recovery process different than, okay, so they went and sweated it out for a couple weeks and were miserable for months. Hey, I'm not. I'm just good. I mean, call it what you want. You want to judge me? Fine. Because I'm not judging me anymore. I'm at peace.
And it's so wonderful
It is.
to not be judgmental of ourselves, about our progress, and about the process that truly God is bringing us through.
Yeah.
It's not about like anybody else out there in the world. It's about what God, me and God.
And the great thing about it is they can be right. They're right. Their recovery works for them.
Right.
So I don't have to defend myself because I'm right.
Right.
I am.
Right.
I'm
That's
at
the beautiful
peace.
thing about it.
And they're at peace.
Mm-hmm.
And if they
And we
want
don't
to
have to
judge
judge.
me, they can. You know, that's just a character defect that a person needs to look at and say, what's
Within
wrong with
themselves.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I judging that person for the way they're recovering?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we're all imperfect. We all have something to work on. And that's why it's a daily inventory of ourselves. That's like where you get. You don't graduate from recovery. Whatever it is you're trying to overcome. It's a daily reprieve from the things that we have been doing that are destructive in our life. And it is a daily inventory at the end of the day to look at myself and say, how can I improve? Was I being judgmental of another person's recovery? Was I being judgmental of anything? Was I doing something that was just harmful to myself? How can I improve? How can I be better? Not better than, not better than anybody, but how can I be better for myself to improve my health, to improve my mind, to improve my connection with God?
And you know what I did today? I started my fast. Because I've been talking about it and I've been, thinking about it for like months. And today I sat down and I was like, I keep making excuses and I keep like making all these things in my head. Like I'll do it whenever whatever. I decided to just do it.
It's awesome. Thank
you.
So
I'm doing it. I'm in it. I've begun.
I will call today my first fast day, but I did have a smoothie.
I had a banana and walnuts. And after I had that, I was like, well, I have to start. And so I started. And so I did have food this morning, but we've begun. Yeah. If we began now, we have begun. And so
is tomorrow
will be a eat
water day? Tomorrow is an eat day?
Because I stopped eating after breakfast. Yeah. Like, that's just kind of the way that in my mind. And so I figured tomorrow I'll be able to eat and then... Because I just had to start.
I had a smoothie this morning, so yeah, today I won't eat anything else, and tomorrow will be an eat day. Cool. That's progress. I mean, that is.
And I didn't plan it. It happened. The Spirit moved me, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it, and I just did it.
Because I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about doing it too, and it's time. So
yeah.
Time for water.
Yeah.
So I get to eat tomorrow. Okay.
So
cool.
that is the way to do it, is you just do it.
Yeah.
We just do it.
Yeah.
Stop making excuses and we just, because I want to be closer. Like I want to feel the Spirit more in my life. I want to improve. I want to be better. And so it's like, what are the things that we have to do to be better?
Well, there's definitely one absolute. The only way to do it is to do it. I mean, and the only time you have to do it
is now.
Right now. There is no other time.
Today is all that we've been given.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning and I was just like, I have been reincarnated. I have a brand new day to be totally different than I have been in the past. And what can I do today to be my highest version of myself? What choices can I make? And fasting was one of those choices. And so I did it. I just chose to do it.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I've been thinking about it too long.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, good job.
Mm-hmm.
So
we
today's
began.
day one. That'll be fun. A month?
It is. I don't know. I'm not even giving myself time.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it because I recognize I have patterns and behaviors and habits within myself that really I I need to change, and I know that fasting in the past has shown me, like, it opens me up to being able to see my behaviors very clearly, especially on the fast days. Like, I see where I spend my time. Like, I'm not having to cook anything or eat anything, and so it shifts my time to being focused on something else. And so I can fill my time more with meditation and with prayer and doing those higher things that help me to feel good.
And on the eat days, you're more mindful of what you're putting in your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fasting is so amazing. I wish everybody would fast. I mean, it would be such a blessing for your life. And
it is.
I mean, if a person never fasts, I mean, it's not like there is no judgment in it. I mean, there's just no judgment in anything. I just don't care. I don't. Yeah. I mean, if you really want to stick on your synthetic pharmaceuticals for the rest of your life, I have absolutely no problem with that.
If it helps you to be a better person. I mean,
but there are other ways to have a healthier body. And the stigma that comes along with plant medication needs to be just done with. It needs to be out of here. And within the LDS, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints community, it's probably even looked upon as even stronger, like against it.
Against marijuana.
Yeah, but it is changing even within the church, and it's just better for our body than the other crap that we put in our body. And I'm, again, not judging in any way, because I've put it all in my body. I mean, I've been there, I've done that, but I can say from experience that it feels so much better not to be on all that other stuff.
And another thing is that people, I don't think, always realize, those who are LDS, and you think, oh no, we shouldn't do that. The church has come out. Like, if you have a hard time making decisions without the church, endorsing it or whatever, I mean, they recognize the medical benefits of it. And they say, like, if you go to a doctor and you are prescribed it and you use it as prescribed, it is a good thing. Absolutely.
Amen. It's a whole new world we live in today.
It is.
And I love it. People are becoming more enlightened, aware of what we've been subjugated or usurped. I mean, we've had just so much stuff put into our minds of the way that this world is supposed to be, and it's just there's an awakening happening, and more people are becoming enlightened. And I've said it before, all these people that are becoming spiritually enlightened, the more enlightened and the more spiritual they become, the more they're living like Jesus Christ. And they don't even know it, and they're receiving the rewards, and not rewards, they're receiving the blessings of living like Jesus Christ, and they don't even know it. So, yeah.
Yep.
Life is good.
It is.
I love not judging myself, and I love not judging
too.
others, and just being at peace and happy, and so beautiful. It's just a beautiful world we live in.
Yep.
All you got to do is love one another. It's the answer to it all. Love God and love your neighbor.
Like you love yourself.
Yeah.
And that is, it's all about love.
Have a good day.
Bye, y'all.